What's going on, Bolt fam? Welcome back to another episode of the Bolt Standard Podcast with your hosts, Justin Harley, Dylan Martin. Dylan, what's going on, man? What's going on, man? It's week 10, 6-3, one game, well, half game back, really.
Yeah,
First place, because Denver 7-2, we're 6-3, but we got that win over them, so 1-0 against them in the division. How you feeling, man? How you feeling going into this week?
I'm feeling good. I like what we've got going on, minus the big loss of Joe Alt this week, which we could touch on here in a second. But, seeing our team make some moves, over halfway through the year, sitting at 6-3, really can't complain when you look at, everything in totality, injuries, taking that into effect, and, just overall getting through a rough stretch and now playing good football again, it seems like. So hopefully we can keep that on high. Especially coming back home for a Sunday night football game against a big Steelers team. It's a big time matchup with two playoff teams right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, you already kind of touched on it, so let's just jump right into our little news and notes section. So you started it, man, Joe Alt. So initially, it kind of seemed like it wasn't going to be, a season-ending type thing. End up, them saying obviously we kind of knew he was going to need the procedure, but it seemed like maybe a 3, 4, 5 week thing. He come back, but no, ruled out for the season. So that's a big loss because we know how comfortable Herbo is, man, with number 76 sitting over there on that left side, protecting his blind side. So that's a big loss. It obviously spurred us to make some moves, and I kind of throw it over to you, and then if you want to jump into the moves we made, we can talk about those. So
Yeah, this injury hurts mainly for the fact of obviously the numbers show when Alt's on the field, we're a totally different team to when Alt's off the field. And then you see that on Minnesota Thursday night, how much of an offensive threat we were with him running the ball, looked a lot better. Passing the ball, obviously, you're not worried about nothing from the left side when he's anchoring it down over there. And honestly, I'm really just gonna miss the overall like joy and comfortability you see from Justin, like jumping up in the air with the celebrations, like honestly, like just that whole vibe, you can kind of feel that, he felt really good about, having Alt back out there. It helped that it was in a big win, so he was able to express that a little bit more. But it really just sucks. Like we got Alt back after missing, what was that, 4 weeks, and then comes back and get a game and a half out of him, game and whenever he got injured in the Tennessee game. So
yeah.
it really hurts because the we were trending upwards with him being back and other guys around us getting healthy again. Bobby Hart playing good at right tackle, which he goes down to. So like another week where we literally lose two starters in the O line in the same game. Like we've lost a starter in all but one game this year from the O line. Like that, like we haven't finished but one game with who started the game at O-line, didn't finish it. And that's with backups coming in, right? So that's crazy. We're tied for second most O-linemen to play in a game this year. So when you look at all that, that's the part that really hurts. And then we had the trade deadline on Tuesday come and go. And we made a move, which, the fan base probably really, really wanted us to do. I think it was mandatory as well for us to grab somebody. And we go out and get a guy, Trevor Penning from New Orleans, a guy that we had probably some good knowledge of. I know it's a different regime, but he was picked 2 picks after Zion in 2022, a first rounder, played tackle his first 3 years, was playing left guard the last 6 games this year. So it shows a little versatility. Wednesday, they said in his first day with us, he practiced at both tackle spots. So it'll be interesting to see how we deploy him. It looks like he's needed at tackle for us, though, obviously, with those injuries. So, will be interesting to see how it goes going forward for us. Hopefully, he can just, plug and play. You're not going to be as bad as Austin Deculus. That's an upgrade from there. Bobby Hart thankfully played well. So can you just give us that level of production as a first round talent? I hope you can. Maybe you can be a better run blocker as well. Um, Obviously, he's not Joe Alt or Rashawn Slater. Like we can forget about that. I wouldn't say he's a needle mover either, but it's better than not having anything and staying complacent and just letting the trade deadline come and go when this is a very winnable year for us with the way that 10 is playing in the backfield.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see the move. And like you said, the fan base, they were clamoring for a move. And I'm sure they're still probably like, this is not the move we wanted. It was like you wanted a move. He made a move. One thing I think a lot of like fans, just like general fans, and I'm not saying I know more than everybody, but like I think one thing that people don't really understand is like looking at the salary cap, looking at those things too, because you can only make moves that allow you to stay under the cap. We're in season right now, so like you have to stay under that cap. We
Yeah.
didn't have a lot of cap space. I think before the move we were sitting at maybe like 3 almost 3 million in cap space. So it's not like you can go out and get, a starting caliber, Kevin Zeitler, who his deal with Tennessee was like close to like 10 million for the year. So we would have had to take on about like 6 million because, that base salary, they paid a portion of it. We would have had to take on the rest of that. That would have put us over. So like you can't go out there and make those big deals because we just didn't have the cap space. So a lot of fans is like, why this guy? Why this? Like you said, you pointed to it. He's a first round talent. He has that guard tackle flexibility that the front office loves. And I saw a lot of people talking about, oh, why can't we go and get Evan Neal? Go get Evan Neal from the Giants. I mean, he's a first round talent. He was drafted, I think, the seventh pick. Well,
Yeah.
Evan Neal's only ever played tackle. You know how much that guard tackle flexibility that our front office likes and loves. Honestly, not even like they love it. He,
Yeah.
he did he did play a little bit of guard in the preseason this year, and he was horrible, horrible, Evan Neal. So
Yeah.
I was looking at that and I'm like, man, I wouldn't be mad if they brought him in. I mean, I love our coaching staffs and I love how we develop people. I think we do a really good job, whether it's offense or defense. But that guard tackle flexibility is huge. So I know that that's what kind of like probably led to probably going with Trevor Penning over Evan Neal because the Giants were shopping Evan Neal.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like that wasn't the route that they wanted to go. And in Trevor Penning's conference, they kind of talked to him, asked a bunch of questions, stuff like that. I like a bunch of his responses. He seemed like someone that fits Harbaugh's kind of like memento. Like, I mean, he's a tough, physical, hard nosed want to impose his will on. He's a big, strong guy. So like you look at those things, and Evan Neal is too. But you just look at like he's got that like I don't want to use the word that everybody else is using. Everybody else is saying nasty streak, mean streak. I don't
Yeah.
want to use that. But he's got like something up here. It's like he got some screws loose. Like he he's a little crazy. So I
Yeah.
like that. But he has to as long as our team and our front office can kind of our coaches staff can kind of reel that in and not lead to those penalties and those unnecessary roughness penalties that he's gotten a lot of, which I love the aggression. I love how he plays that way. But you got to reel it back in. Once that whistle stops, all right.
Yeah.
Let's back to the huddle. Let's do that. So I like it. Like you said, it's upgrade over what we have now. And we've just been ravaged by injuries. So whether he could play a tackle or Becton goes out and maybe he goes to guard, like who knows? I mean, but there's a lot of possibilities. Jumping over to our other Ortiz, man, me and Ortiz, we kind of like, man. We like making sure we like hitting things at the buzzer, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people not
Yeah.
gonna get that. A lot of people not gonna get that, but
Yeah.
he two deals at the deadline, obviously brought in over Trevor Penning, and then the other one we actually shipped someone out. Jasir Taylor, one of our favorites. Um no ill feelings towards Jasir Taylor. Just didn't think he brought a lot to the field outside of special teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got shipped over to the Jets. And we got a seventh round pick in 2028. So we know Ortiz loves draft capital. Doesn't matter if it's a first round, seventh round, he's going to be able to do something with it. We've seen him maneuver and use these picks to grab different players and turn into really good deals. So I'm excited for any kind of deal that Ortiz kind of does because I think he's always just planning and prepping. I mean, I think our last regime didn't do a lot of that, and it
Yeah.
kind of showed in the moves we made and how we just paid money to whoever. It kind of seems like Ortiz has a 1, 2, 3 year plan. It's not just like, oh, I'm gonna make a move and then we'll see what happens next year. Like it's like I'm gonna do this move because I see this happening, and maybe next year I'm gonna do this. Like it's kind of calculated, so I like that.
Yeah. And you mentioned, people not knowing like salary cap implications when you make these trades. Another thing, like you just mentioned, is the draft capital aspect. A lot of teams don't do player for player trades in the NFL. A lot of times, if you're trading a player or trading for a player, you're trading capital. Like, look what we had to do for Odafe Owe. I know that Gilman was attached, but that's because they needed secondary help so bad, and we needed DN. Like, that's a rare one, right? But you look at all these other trades. Look at Sauce Gardner, two first round picks. Quinton Williams, first round, second round, fourth round. All these picks having to go. So if you want top end talent, you got to give up top end draft capital. Ortiz is the guy that wants to give that up. I mean, a six rounder for next year's draft, 2027 for Penning, that's a good deal. You know, you got to look at that aspect of it too. Like, people may be wanting like a Brees Hall, for example, just to have a name when Kamani has been totally fine. They
Yep.
were asking for a third round pick for a guy that was due for a new contract and expendable because we already have Amari and Hampton, right? So you got to look at that aspect of things too. So when we don't make deals, I got to think, what are they asking for in return? Talking about Jaw Taylor, I will give him a little bit of credit. As much as he was bad in that Staley defense and defense last year, not being able to be in coverage, he hasn't played defense for us this year. He's been a solid special teamers though. And with the way our special teams has looked this year, I'm hoping with Dean Leonard coming back and maybe a couple other guys playing out there more, we can improve because right now we are the worst in return coverage in the league right now, giving up the most yards per punt return, 18, and 29.3 on kickoff return. And he was the guy that was out there for that, and he was our best gunner on punt return coverage. So, or punt coverage, excuse me. So I'm just hoping that maybe Dean Leonard can be out there because I know he was a special teamer before. He's good speed, can play. Hopefully we can figure that out and right the ship because losing him, that's just another piece. Because you look at we let Caleb Murphy go when we brought in Owe. He was another guy that was playing special teams. So a lot of these special teamers are leaving, and a lot of that continuity, especially with these new kickoff rules and stuff, like you got to have guys that know what they're doing in these situations.
Yeah, no, that special team piece is huge. Like you said, we've had arguably the worst special teams coverage unit in the NFL this year, which is so just foreign because Ficken's groups have always been like top five.
Right.
So it's like it is really kind of bad to see that. I kind of see it. I see it the same way as you, as far as like he was an impactful special teams player. But I also see it from the standpoint of, well, we've been so bad, so is he really adding anything? And
True.
it's like it's hard to say he's not, but it's also hard to say he is. And then you look at who's coming back. Well, Dean Leonard, he also can play that gunner position. So it's
Right.
like,
Right.
all right, well, Dean is probably going to give us a little bit more, especially if we need somebody on field. Dean, bigger outside corner, could probably use him a little bit more, can still use him in that gunner spot. I do agree with you when we released waived Caleb Murphy. I thought that was a big mistake, and you've seen the ramifications on that. I think that definitely hurt our special teams unit a lot more than Ja will, because now you don't have Caleb Murphy out there. You got Thule jumping back into there playing some of those snaps. Where it's like, nah, can this guy just be a full-time defensive player, like edge rusher? Like, let's not devote special teams snaps to this guy. Let's keep him as fresh as we can. And then,
Yeah.
Bud ain't gonna be out there playing special teams. So you got this guy who's not doing anything on the field, and he ain't playing special teams. So
Right.
it's like, yeah, that to me was the bigger blunder. This, I mean, I love it. We got draft capital. Dean Leonard's coming back off of IR. Like, I think it's a wash. But I do agree with you. He has given us pretty good special teams play, but our unit has been so bad. It's like,
Yeah. I don't I
cares?
don't like Tully being out there either, but like you said, you're not gonna have Bud out there. Khalil's not playing special teams. Aldafe always not playing special teams, so Tully's by default is that guy because he's played the last few years. But if I even noticed on punt coverage, Deion Henley was out there on the punt coverage, a punt team last
Yeah,
week. So like, I don't mind it, but at the same time, I don't want my all-pro linebacker or supposed to be all-pro linebacker, my best linebacker on punt coverage. It
no,
helps us get stops, I guess, but at the same time, it's like we got to have guys that are capable of doing that. Like Troy Dye should be doing that. You know what I
for
mean?
sure.
Somebody along those lines. So we'll see how we can improve going forward because it's definitely something that, can lose you games if you're giving up field position after kickoff return and punt return. Like that's supposed to be areas we've been good at. Let's hope Ficken can right that ship.
Absolutely. So no, I love it. Great discussion. Obviously, love seeing Ortiz wheeling and dealing. Let's talk about this matchup, man. Pre-game matchup. Let's get right into it. We got prime time football, baby. 7:20 our time, obviously. 8:20 if you're Eastern, 5:20 if you're on the West Coast.
Yep.
But let's talk about it. Steelers, Chargers. What are some of the things you're looking forward to with this game, this matchup? Any key matchups you got on your mind? Anything that just sticks out to you?
Yeah, for sure. My first thing that I'm looking at, I'm excited to see primetime Justin Herbert. We know how he plays in primetime games, been big time all year. Um, Really not even just in primetime, he's been good all year long, period. One of the best quarterbacks there's been so far. Um, and so right now, I feel like he should be higher in MVP talks the way he's been playing. If you look at his just purely statistical numbers, he leads the NFL in rush yards at 305 from a quarterback. Um, He also is second in pass yards. He's second in pass TDs and first in completions. Now, take those numbers away and factor in the line he's been behind game after game, the pressures, the hits that he's taken. If you did that with all these other quarters, like imagine a Joe Burrow right now doing what he's done, the media discourse, if it was Joe Burrow doing all these hits, right? Um, I was listening to another show earlier, and someone mentioned Mahomes for the first time was pressured the same way that Herbert was. And look what happened to him. He was under 50% completion percentage and couldn't really do anything on the field. So like these guys are getting pressured when it's like Mahomes or like Herbert is and struggle. He's getting pressured like that game in and game out, play in and play out, and he's producing at the highest level in the league so far. So I think Justin Herbert needs a little bit more love than he's getting. I know he got a lot the first 3 weeks because we were winning, and then we had a little bit of a down spell. But we're playing good football again, and so is he. Yeah, he has a few more turnovers, but I'll take my turnovers if we're being aggressive. You know what I mean? Like last year, 3 interceptions was cool. It was a great stat to have to go the whole year with 3 interceptions. But if we're driving the ball down the field like we are and throwing it like we are, and an interception happens. Now, last week's interception was bad. I'm not going to sugarcoat that one. You can't do that. You can't throw it right to a guy on a 5 yard hitch and the linebacker just reads you and gets a pick six to start the game. That's bad. But how do you respond? You go down the field and you score like he did. And how do you respond? You make plays the whole rest of the game to overcome a punt return touchdown the next series, right? So, Justin Herbert, man, in prime time, I can't wait to see that. And if I had to give you a key matchup right now, I'm going the Chargers offensive tackles against TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Nick Herbig. I know they got an interior pass rush as well, but I'm focusing on our tackles on the outside, how they're going to hold up. Because you look at the Steelers last week, they probably played the best offensive line in football, and the Indianapolis Colts are top two. Maybe if you want to add the Eagles up there, especially with the Eagles tackles, but 6 turnovers forced, 3 interceptions, 3 fumbles. 2 of those were strip sacks, right?
Mhm.
So, and those were quick. Like Daniel Jones didn't have a lot of time, right? So, Herbert's not Daniel Jones, but at the same time, when pressure's right in your face immediately, that's tough. And when it's a guy like TJ Watt who loves to get after that ball, he doesn't care about taking you down sometimes. He'll grab the ball first before the body.
Mhm.
That's something we got to keep an eye on. That defense for the first time all year looked like a Steelers defense. The rest of the year, they looked like the rest of the AFC North type of defense with like a Bengals type of AFC North defense.
Yeah.
So, I'm hoping that they can regress back to the mean because they were embarrassed 2 weeks ago on Sunday Night Football against the Packers, so they had to come out and play hard, back-to-back home games. Now they're going on the road, and we play better at home as well anyway. So I'm looking to see how our tackles hold up. It should be Pipkins, I believe, and I don't know who's going to be at right tackle. Will it be Penning? Will it be Sawyer? Probably up in the air. I would lean towards it being Sawyer and Pipkins this weekend, and then we'll see what happens from there. But let's see if they can hold up and then how Herbert can play behind that line with the pressure that I know we're going to see.
Yeah, I mean, and just touching on your offensive line kind of alignment, I would love it if they just let Sawyer stay at left tackle. I mean, he came in, played at left tackle when Alt went out, and I thought he did pretty well. I mean, even as a rookie, that's where he came in and that's where he shined. I would
Yeah.
love for them to just keep him there.
You're right. My
But
bad. I
Pip,
meant to keep it on that same side how it was last week. That's my
Gotcha. Yeah,
yeah.
perfect, perfect. And then just like you said, Trey's gonna come back in and right tackle, and or Trevor Penning. Maybe he's the left tackle. Like, look, who knows what the alignment looks like, or maybe I don't know. But that's something that they're experimenting. They're putting those different lineups together in practice this week, and we're gonna see because it's gonna be a big test, like you said. That's a huge matchup. Our O line versus their D line. So not excited about it. They got a lot of firepower over there, and I'm hoping that, like you said, I think that they regress towards the mean where the first 7, 8 weeks of the season, 9 weeks of the season, their defense looked terrible.
Yeah.
And then they had a really good, tremendous showing against, one of I mean, Colts offense was arguably the best offense in the NFL if you're looking at the metrics, the stats, the efficiency. So you look at that defense doing that to that offense, it does make you a little bit nervous knowing how bad our O line has been because we're so banged up. But I also look at the quarterback and what he's been doing. I mean, Herbert has just been a different type of animal this year, and I just hate like you said, he should be higher up in the MVP talks. He should be getting a lot more, I would say, praise. I mean, there's a lot of people saying, I've had people comment like, well, if everything has to be perfect for him to do well, I'm like, perfect? Can I just get like not seven O linemen hurt, not just two starting running backs hurt? Like, can I just get like maybe half those injuries? Like
Don't
we
tell
need
me you don't
perfect.
watch Charger football without telling me you don't watch Charger football.
And that's what it is. Because I'm like, come on, man, two All-Pro tackles. Your right guard has played 3 out of the 9 games. Come on, that alone is crazy. Then you talk about okay, you're the running back that you signed from free agency. He's done for the year. Then you got the guy
Pick.
you, yeah, first round pick. He's out now on IR, not coming back until probably after the bye. Which actually not probably, yeah, after the bye. That's what Jim Harbaugh said.
Yep.
It's all those things. It's like, come on, like we don't Ten don't need things to be perfect, but he needs some sort of consistency and some sort of average play. Like, come on, man. Like, you see all the charts and all the things. And I don't like to get into all those things because everybody likes to say, like, oh, those are just fun charts or those are just fun stats when you want to paint a narrative. I'm like, everybody got these little slogans that they use to make themselves feel good in debates. But come on, man. His offensive line play has been the worst in the league, but he's still grading out as a top 3 quarterback in the league this year. Like, come on, you can't tell me the guy's not doing his thing. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm far off of what we're supposed to be talking about because I'm supposed to be talking about my key matchups. But man, that got me hot because I'm like, you can't tell me this guy's not balling out, man. Mahomes gets pressured the way he did last week, and he had his worst game in his career. Come on, don't want to hear it. Still going to give Mahomes flowers, and one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But like, you see what the pressure does to great quarterbacks. Like, let's
Yeah.
let's not act like that's not a real thing when your O line's not good.
Right.
Uh,
And it's not even
so
about having weapons at your disposal. It's about having people that cause pressure. And when there's pressure in front of you, I don't care who the quarterback is. Like, look at all the excuses people you would make for Joe Burrow when that happens. Like, I just want people to be consistent with it. If you're gonna crush her or crush Mahomes for having a terrible game, look at the same inconsistencies from a line that we have. 8 weeks of sample size for you, 9 weeks of sample size because Herbert's been hit more than anybody by about 20 hits and 10 sacks and then see the production like where like be consistent like if it like
exactly.
and then acknowledge what you're seeing like that's all I want from people when they're talking about that type of stuff because skill players is one thing but line and pressure being caused is another thing and that changes every quarterback's game and for Herbert to perform the way he does is something that needs to be mentioned.
Absolutely. But yeah, let me get into my matchup. So I got our defense and versus their offense because honestly, I think if this game is going to be close, I think if we have a chance at winning this game, our defense has to play great football. I feel like we need to keep the game close. We can't get into, I don't want to say a shootout, but
Yeah.
if we're trailing by 2 scores and it's starting, second half, it's going to get turned to a kind of a shootout, and we do not need that pressure on our O line because then it's a drop back 3 out of the 4, probably 75% of the time, and if we're dropping back 75% of the time, those edge rushers, those pass rushers, they are coming. Like we cannot let that happen. So I'm really, really looking to see our defense step up big time. They got to hold the Chargers down this week. I believe in Herbert and his ability to outscore any other quarterback in the league, but this is going to be a big match because of how good their D line is. We cannot get in the position or the situation where we are playing from behind and too far behind that it's a predictable offense and we're passing on every down because it's just not. It's just, I don't think it's going to go well for us if that's what we have to do.
Right.
So that's my matchup. Like I said, I think 10 can outduel just about any quarterback. But it's gonna be real hard with the way our O line is set up right now and the way their defensive line has looked. I'm not concerned about their secondary. They're the highest paid defense in the league, but them guys, I'm not worried about none of them. I do like Joey Porter, but I'm not worried about no Ramsey. I'm not worried about Darius Slay who gets hurt 3, 4 times a game. I'm not worried about any of that stuff out there because our guys are gonna eat that up. I'm not worried about that. No, none of those guys are covering Lad. Keenan at his age is still shredding any of those guys. You got QJ doing what he's doing. Trey Harris is looking good. You got OG out there. Like, I'm not worried about the
Yeah.
secondary. I just need that O line to hold up a little bit. But I think our defense needs to really do their job and give us that best scoring defense in the NFL like last year. We're gonna need that Sunday night.
Yeah, and if you look at the last 2 weeks, we have been 10 against Vikings. Last week, no offense touchdowns given up by the defense. They scored on a pick six and a punt return. So the defense held it down. I think we gave up 206 total yards last week to the Titans. Just over 200 yards in a football game is a really good game, especially on the road. So I look at that, and then like you said, their secondary. They have names. They don't have good players. Jalen Ramsey is the same guy. They actually moved him to safety last week. I was looking like that might be the move for him. Joey Porter, he's okay, but the guy holds all the time. And they actually had to switch up their coverage last week, and that's why their defense probably looked a lot better. They didn't blitz as much for the first time all year, and they went more zone than man. Last week in week 9, they went 30% man. Last week, the first 8 weeks, they averaged 43% man.
Mm.
They went 70% zone rate, and that allowed guys to just, they couldn't get to spots. And actually, because the DNs were beating up those tackles so bad, Daniel Jones couldn't get to his spots. I think if we hold up, we're going to pick apart not only their man, but the zone because you mentioned all of our weapons. Keenan's going to eat up a zone, find the space. Lad's going to find the space in the zone. OG's a big body. I know what he's doing. He looks like he knows what he's doing against zones. So it's really just holding up against them, whether they bring the blitz or not. Last week, their blitz rate was 29.5%, 18 pass blitzes on 61 pass plays. So they're going to come after you a little bit, but it's not going to be all out. So we should be able to handle that as best as possible. It's always tough with our interior. We can't handle a stunt to save our lives. Last week, we had Draymond Jones looking like Jeffrey Simmons out there. I thought the guy was sitting out, but you know, we'll see what we do. I like what we can do against the secondary though. I say all that to say I don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna take a step back because last week was just one of those weeks. It was like a do or die game for them. And so I know this is another big time game, but I think we have a little bit more guys that can attack that zone and man from a receiver standpoint than what the Colts did.
Yep. And we got 10, man. We got 10. So, no, like I said, I'm right there with you, man. I still think we do pull this one out. I do think it's just going to be a bit of a closer game. Um, and yeah, looking forward for that defense, our defense to step up. So let's get into our favorite. Let's get into the fans' favorite betting segment. Let's talk about it. Bolt the door locks. What you got, man? I'm gonna start off with you. Bolt the door lock of the week. Tell me what you're working with.
Well, since we didn't hit the post game, we got to shout out each other. We both hit on the lock, so we got to keep that rolling. This week, my lock of the week, I'm taking Herbert over 23 and a half rush yards. I told you he's the league leader in quarterback rushing this year. The offense just looks so much different, and he knows it too. And it brings such an energy to the team when he runs with the football. I mean, look at that first down he got when he ran through that D lineman last week in Tennessee. All the defensive guys are out there flexing, telling him
Uh-huh.
little. So, like,
Hmm.
I think it just adds a whole different dynamic. And 23 and a half, like he's had multiple runs this year for longer than 23. So one big run, seeing that the man coverage or people not staying home in their lanes, I think he could easily get that. Especially with the pressure that they are going to bring on us. We know how our O line is, so I think he could be able to find some spots to get to that 23 and a half.
No, I love that. Like you said, and I think one thing that will allow for that to happen, I mean, he's just been so good with picking his spots. And I think that's the thing too, like picking his
Yeah,
spots and knowing when to and not always just being like, well, I'm just gonna abandon it, I'm just gonna run. Like he's picking his spots really well.
yeah,
But like you said, it's those pass rushes, getting up, being aggressive. I think with our O-line being as banged up as it is, I think they are gonna be real aggressive. And they're like, oh, I gotta get upfield on these guys because I know I can beat these tackles. These are second, third string tackles. I'm all pro TJ Watt. Like I think there's going to be some lanes that get established because they're being too aggressive. So I love that stat. It kind of goes hand in hand with this one because I have my bolt the door lock of the week. I got Herbert over 280 and a half passing and rushing yards. So I love that line. He's hit that in his last three. And I think it's going to take a lot from Herbo this game for us to really propel us and make sure that we do seal the deal. So I don't even have much to really say on that. Like I said, you talked about the rushing aspect. The passing aspect, I mean, you shouted it out. I mean, he's got what second most passing yards, no second most TD, second most first completions, second most passing yards, second TD. So he's obviously slinging it.
yeah,
So like I'm not concerned about that, and I do think that the Steelers have better run defense than they do pass coverage in that
yeah,
secondary. So I see it as a game where Herbert is going to be leaned on, but we also have to make sure we're scheming up the right things and just can't be dropping back 24/7, letting those guys tee off on our O line. So,
yeah.
but I do love that over. That's my bolt the door lock of the week. It's at -114 on FanDuel. So yeah, that's what I'm rocking with, man. This is actually a real big Herbert game for me. So you're gonna see a lot of redundancies over here. But what you got, man? Favorite over under, man. What you got?
I should say real quick, I didn't think I said it, but minus 112 for the over 23 and a half. I got that from DraftKings on my line. I thought I should put that out there. Um, we talked about Herbert needing to be an MVP talk, so it's only fitting both of our locks include him to be great.
Yes,
So let's
sir.
see it happen out there. My favorite over under though, I'm going to a guy where we talked about their secondary not being so great. We talked about them maybe playing more zone if you want to look at the trend from last week. I'm going to Keenan Allen over 41 and a half receiving yards. He's two away from breaking the Chargers all-time record. So you know he's going to break that in prime time this weekend at home. I love that he gets to do it at home, get his flowers, get an ovation from the crowd. So I see that happening. So I see more than a few catches coming his way. And so 41 and a half, he's our guy. Third and Keenan, you know he's always available for you. So I'm taking that over 41 and a half from Keenan. That's minus 110 on DraftKings currently.
Like that a lot. No, man, a lot of big time implications for that man Slayer to on Sunday night, man. Like you said, two away from breaking that all-time record for the most receptions in Chargers history.
Flowers.
It's yeah, man. It's a done deal, man. There's no way he doesn't get two. And I think he's going to be leaned on heavily because, like you said, they're probably going to be playing more zone. And he's one of the best, man. He knows when to sit down in the zone. He knows leverage and he knows coverage and he's able to pick those apart. He's going to be really heavily leaned upon. So now I love that. Like I said, a lot of redundancies. I'm going with my boy Herbert again. I got him sitting at over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Like I said, they're just a much better team against the run. I do think that those run lanes, I don't think they're going to be there. We don't have good enough O line to really move the pocket, especially not against the type of defense that they have. If you look at this Pittsburgh Steelers defense, one thing that they do, and it's so funny because I'm gonna bring in Madden, NFL, I'm gonna bring in a video game. I haven't played in a long time, but anybody who knows me knows that I'm a heavy D line person and I'm light everywhere else. So saying that, I'm a person that's gonna have I'm going after Jordan Davis. I'm going after all the big guys I want in the D line because I want my linebackers to be fast coverage guys. I don't want big run stuffing linebackers because I want my D line to do all the work. But
Yeah.
my coverage guys in the back end, I want them to be really good in coverage, really fast, sideline to sideline. And that's what the Steelers are. You look at Peyton Wilson, that guy's super fast. He's not a run stuffer. You look at Patrick Queen, he's got a little bit of run stuffer in him, but Patrick Queen's a sideline to sideline guy. You look at their linebackers, that's what they are. They go look at their safeties. They went and got Kyle Duggar's a real good box safety, but you get box safeties when you play heavy on the D line and you want the guys behind them lighter. So I look at that and I'm like, I feel like it's going to be hard for us to really establish that run because those guys and our O line, I don't think we're going to be able to generate that push. But I think it's going to lean on Herbert. I think that we're going to be able to have those passing windows. I think we're going to be able to lean on the guys who know how to, finesse those zones so well. And I think in the red zone, I think we are going to be passing a lot. I think we're going to be throwing a lot. And I like if we're going to win this game, I think Herbert's going to have at least two passing touchdowns for us to be able to win this game.
Yep.
Because I don't think it's going to be a 13-10 type win. I think it's going to be in the 20s for both teams to be able to win this game. And I think he's going to have to throw for at least two.
Yeah. Like that call. I mean, we're going to be throwing the rock. Herbert's our guy. So two touchdowns easily is happening to me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So this is the one that anytime touchdowns are hard to predict, man. And if we look at going back to week one with us, I mean we're probably I don't even know, man. What was it? 9 weeks, so that's 18 picks. We're probably I don't know anywhere from like 6 to 8 and 8 of 18. So I mean it's hard. It is hard to predict these anytime touchdowns. There's a lot of variability. There's a lot of things that happen where the guy you might pick, he was wide open maybe there was too much pressure, or he was wide open, but he wasn't the first read, and he went with another read. So it's so hard to pick these things, and even on the running back stands. But anytime touchdowns, man, let's talk about it. I kind of feel like we're going to match up, but who you got?
I'm going OG this week, plus
Okay.
165. I think, like we talked about, we're attacking them through the air. I think he's a tough matchup for those guys. I think a lot of eyes are going to be on Ladd still. He's been coming alive lately. A lot of eyes on Keenan, especially with the um, big night for him coming because he's going to break the record and stuff like that. So I think OG will have a big game. Didn't have as much in the second half last week. Really good first half. So I'm looking for OG to continue his run of just being one of those guys, one of those difference makers out there. So that's plus 165 for me. I'm taking OG.
No, I love it, man. You know that's my boy, man. I'm always talking about that boy OG, man, because I just think that he's just such a. I mean, you look at all the different, and I don't like to bring up, like I said, all the charts and all the stats things that people post, but you look at since he's gotten kind of established after like week three. I mean, he's been graded out as the best receiving tight end in the league. His receiving yards as a tight end, I mean, he's like top three right now, and he's only came on since week three, and he wasn't even playing
Exactly.
full time. He wasn't even
Yep.
playing full time until about like week five, week six. So you look at all those things, and I'm like, man, OG is really a dog. I love to see what he's kind of doing. But my anytime touchdown, I thought we were going to link up. because it's a Keenan day, man. It's a Keenan day, man. He's
Uh,
gonna break he's
I
gonna break
almost
that
did. I
record.
almost did.
It's a Keenan day, man. It's a Slayer. So I got the Slayer getting in there. I got him scoring an anytime touchdown. He's at plus 190. Um, two reasons why I think he's gonna score. Like I said, I think it's a Keenan day. I don't think the reception leader record is the only thing that's gonna kind of like pin him or has have give him that notion of him having a good night. I think he gets in the end zone for that. But I also see a receiver who has not played much over the last 2 weeks. He played 24 snaps last week. He
Mm.
played 18 snaps the week before that against Minnesota. So I look at those two weeks and I'm like, man, this guy's not playing a lot. But why is he not playing a lot? Because we're not doing a lot of three wide receiver sets. We're not doing a lot, we're playing with the lead a lot of times. So it's like, man, you're Keenan, man, you're 33. Listen, man, go take a break. Let's Trey Harris get in here, man. Let's go block. Let's go, QJ, get out there, go run some routes and go block. They're gonna let the young guys do a lot of dirty work, but I don't think there's gonna be a lot of dirty work being done in this game, man. I think it's gonna be fight fire with fire. I do think that we still, we're a team that likes to, do those, 12 personnel, maybe even 13 every now and then. But so I do think his snap counts go way up in this game. I think he's well over 30 snaps. Because like I said, 24 last week, 18 the week before. He's barely on the field. But I think he's going to be super heavily leaned on. And I'm seeing him definitely get in the end zone. I think it's that Herbert Keenan connection, tough game, third and Keenan. It's all those things where it's like you got to rely on the guy that has been there for you through the years. Obviously not last year because he wasn't here. Ladd was that guy, but that Keenan and Herbert connection cannot be misunderstood, man. Cannot be mistaken.
The more you talked about it, the more I'm talked into it. I'm probably throwing that on there as well, one of my parlays. Because, like, you're right. It's not just going to be 2 catches and you break the record with 2 catches and 11 yards. That's why I took his over receiving. But, I do like him to score as well. That security blanket with quick pressure, he's a easy outlet and he understands I got to get to where I need to be quickly. Him and Lad. So I do like that. I did want to throw a sleeper one out there because you mentioned his name, and I think he's my sleeper pick of the week. I almost wanted to take him, but I kind of like what OG's been doing. Trey Harris at plus 600. He had one 2 weeks ago. He's in there a lot because when we run the ball, he's been such a great run blocker. So what
Yep.
does that open up? A play action with him on the field because you're anticipating, okay, Trey Harris is out there. I see 9. Okay, they're going to run the ball.
Yep.
Boom, play action, and then he's getting open, especially if it's near the red zone. Could be something where he catches one and takes it into the house or catches one in the red zone because he still has a good size for a receiver himself.
Oh, absolutely. No, I love that play too. And another thing that kind of makes me even like that even more, he's a former quarterback. So when you talk about those coverages, you talk about the blitzes, you talk about someone who you talk about Keenan, like, oh, he knows when there's pressure. Oh, get to my spot. Be a quarterback's best friend. I gotta make sure that I make the eye contact quick because if there's a lot of pressure, that ball's probably coming out fast. He's a former quarterback. He knows that. So what better kind of match can you have is my receiver is a former quarterback who knows when there's pressure, I need to be available. So I love that. And like you said, I mean, he's a big body guy too, man. Trey, not a little guy. I mean, you seen that play he made last week where caught the pass and had to, fight for the extra yards over the two guys to get that first down. So,
Yep.
no, I love it, man. I love Trey. Plus 600 is a really good number.
So if
And
it
he's on the,
hits,
he's on
I'm
the
counting
field.
it. If it doesn't hit, don't act like I put it on.
That's a bonus. That's a bonus play.
Exactly.
But he's on the field a lot though. So I mean, hey, I love it. Let's get into our last segment, man. We're gonna talk about kind of the game prediction. So like I said, man, we playing primetime football Sunday night. Opened up as 3-point favorites at home. So they kind of baking that 3 points when you're at home. Moved a little bit. We're at -2.5 now. So it slid a little bit. What are you thinking? What are you looking at for this game?
Sunday night football primetime matchup. We talked about how Herbert plays in primetime. Us in general on primetime, undefeated this year, looking to become the first team to ever win on Thursday night, Friday night, Sunday night, and Monday night. If we get this Sunday night win, fun fact for everybody out there, could be a first. Salute to the service. I got to say salute to the troops. I got last year's shirt. So a big one. Harbaugh's big on that. A lot of our guys are big on that. So that'll be a cool game out there to be at. My brothers will be at. So we got some Martins in attendance for this one. Um, all that being said, I'm taking the Chargers 26-20. I like us to get that win. Somebody was asking me, one of our viewers, are you ever going to pick against the Chargers? Not this week. So maybe we'll see if I don't like the matchup, but it's not going to be this one. So 26-20 Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, like you said, you gotta be realistic, and you do gotta pick against your guys when you see the spots that they could potentially lose in. But like you said, not this week. Don't matter. The defense, they looked so super good last week, and our O-line's banged up. I just don't see it. So yeah, all things you talked about, I got us winning this game 24-21. I think it goes in similar fashion of when we played the Broncos. I think it's a game that's kind of back and forth, and I think one team kind of leads early on. I think at halftime there's some momentum switch, and I think the game kind of gets knotted up at a point. But I think that we end up having that ball, and I think we seen what Herbert's done at the end of all of these games that have been close games. He has sealed the deal. He's either driven us down the field for a touchdown, or he's gotten the best kicker in the NFL in field goal range, and Dicker knocks it through. So I got us at 24-21 winning that game. I just like I said, I think it's going to be a game that's back and forth. I think it's going to be a lot of game of you got two coaches who are pretty reserved in nature. Mike Tomlin, he's not an aggressive coach.
No.
You don't see him, 4th and 5, 4th and 6 going for it a lot, especially depending on where they're at on the field. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they're in their own territory. He's punting that thing. So I see a lot of field jockeying here. I see a lot of both teams taking punts, putting that other team, deep in their territory, making them grind out the yardage. So I see that back and forth, but I think at the end of the game, I think that Herbert's gonna have to take over, and I think that we're all gonna be a little bit more aggressive, and I think it's gonna lead to us being able to have that field goal type of a win. I see just the ability that Herbert has shown this year, wanting to run. I've seen it in his arm. I mean, all the tight window throws that he's made. We've seen it throughout the years, but I don't know if we've seen it like this consistent, really. I mean, like he does it all the time, so it makes you feel like, oh, he's always doing this. But it feels like every week this year, he's making a wow play. And it's like, man, despite the odds that are against him, he's still making these wow plays like every single week. Like it doesn't fail.
That throw to
Um,
QJ last week.
oh
Whew.
my god, dude, over that.
The corner
It, wa-
got
and it
mad. He
wasn't
read it.
and it wasn't even like, so like there's a couple things about that too that I want to just hit on real quick. The DB was in pretty good position, honestly. Like if the DB wasn't in a bad position. It's what were we like on a 30-yard line, maybe 35-yard line or so. I mean, so it's not like you could put a lot of air on that ball. So it kind of had to be a tight rope kind of throw, but you still had to fit it over the DB, but still put it in the field of play in the back of that end zone. That was a tough throw. And kudos to QJ, man, because them you needed some hands to get that. Because you gotta think about it, it's not just catching the football. It's thinking that the DB might get a hand on it. It's seeing the football and being able to look it through all the way. So like
Yeah.
that was a dot. That
Wow.
was a dot, man. That Herbo, man.
Yeah.
Salute to you, man, because man.
Yeah, so I think, man, same things as you. Also see that I don't think Aaron Rodgers will be able to have enough answers with what they have on the outside against this pass defense. Our pass defense is really good. I know there's a few weeks where it seems like some of that zone was getting ate up a little bit, but I mean they have DK. He's going to be tough, but I think we have enough answers around the other guys. Derwin James around the tight ends. Aaron Rodgers doesn't like to take a lot of chances either. We don't allow chances to be took anyways. So if we can take away a lot of the looks that he's looking for, the quick game, stuff like that, stop the run, which I think we'll be better at doing and have been better last few weeks. I think we should be able to hold them. That's why I have them at 20 because I think, they're going to have to settle for maybe a few field goals. So I think this should be a win that we control. A primetime game. I do think it's really going to be a good football game, though, because like you mentioned, that's a coach that knows what he's doing, a well-coached football team all around. Their special teams are always good. Their defense has been bad, but after the performance last week, they're coming in confident, and they want to hold serve and keep their lead because Baltimore's coming. Lamar Jackson is back healthy, but we're on the same end because we want to keep pace with Denver, who's getting ready to play this evening. So. It'll be interesting to see how both teams come out. I like the way we've been playing at home. Primetime vibes have been great at SoFi. So I think all those things being said, I'm taking the better quarterback, which is Justin Herbert, to continue the play that he's had all year long.
Yes, sir, man. Let's go get another dub, man. Let's get another dub. Let's go to 7-3. We have a tough stretch coming up after our bye. Before the bye, it's It's something that we can easily manage, I feel like. But yeah, tough stretch coming up. We got to stack these wins. So no, I'm with you, man. Let's just go handle business, man. What's that slogan that you said last week, man? TCB, take care of business, man.
Take care of business. Yep. So Chargers, let's get it done at home. Protect home field. SoFi, let's be rocking for our Bolts, man. It's a big one. Sunday night football, we're always looking forward to. It's going to be a long wait through that Sunday though to wait for that game. But man, what a game we get. One more time, shout out to the troops, man. We got the salute to service game. So thank you to all the troops out there. Thank you for your service to all you guys, TYFYS, to all the branches of the military out there. My pop's a former serviceman as well. So shout out to all you guys out there. Shout out to all the fans out there for sticking with us through the video. Keep rocking with us. Keep sending it to somebody else. Keep subscribing. We appreciate you guys. And until next week, you know what it is. Bolt up.